Human Radio.
Oh, what a cold and dingy night. Where did that summer go? Where's summer gone, Andy? We had summer, it literally seems like yesterday. Maybe the day before it was summer. Now it's not anymore. Where's it? Why have you taken it away, Andy?
I haven't. I've just taken away the sunshine.
I've
left the temperature, because it was still 15 degrees today, but it's just the sunshine that I've stolen from your life.
You're my sunshine day in, day out, so it doesn't really matter about that. All I've got to do is look at your face and everything brightens up. So, it's special, Andy, isn't it? It's very, very special. And we've got a very special evening lined up once again tonight, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
We have.
We once again, we have the privilege to have some esteemed company tonight. Peering through a tiny window on our Zoomcast, we've got the effervescent Chris K, Malaeus. Absolutely delighted to have him with us. Hey Chris, you all right?
Thank you very much. Yeah, delighted to be here, and esteemed. Yeah, that's one of the words I've never been called before.
just steamed previously rather than esteemed.
There have been other words, but this is a family-friendly show.
Yeah. Well, we've used all the other good words, and esteemed was one of the last ones we had, so I just saved it for you, really.
Ooh, inevitable, actually, is relevant.
Yeah.
And we've got what have we got? We've got a full song of yours, I think, Chris, haven't we? And we've got a full song and a remix.
We've got two. Well, go on, Chris. You explain what we've got.
I know
you say what they are.
Sort of, they're not really my songs. One's a remix.
Yeah.
Shall we spoil who that's from already?
Not yet.
Okay. One's a special remix, the debut on this show. And the other one is inspired by work of the esteemed Andy Peggs. So it created an idea for a melody. So it's almost like a collaboration where he put the foundation in place, and I just went, "Oh, that gives me ideas," and I did things with it. So it's not really my track; it's our track. I think
it's our track. It's more your track, but it's our track.
Yeah,
I would say. Yeah, it's a collaboration. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we've got that to look for. Well, we've got those to look forward to, which I'm looking forward to very much. Well, I say I'm looking forward to them. I've already listened to them. I know how good they are, and they are good. And we've got something really, really good coming up tonight. And do you know what, Andy? I say this every single week, and I'm embarrassed to say it once again, but having listened through what we've got tonight, we've reached a pinnacle here. I don't know how we're going to get past this. We've got some amazing stuff on tonight. We really have.
It's quite a poppy night tonight. When we were with Rachel last show, we travelled through some dark places, and
we found Brian Blessed.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. But tonight, I think it's no less experimental, but I think we've got some poppy elements on tonight, which I'm very happy about. It's a nice bit of contrast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, let's have a chat about the first song. So first up, we've got Jean Stealers with Murder on the Car Park. I'm not going to say what I wrote down about this yet. I'm going to let you guys have a chat about this first. But do you want to explain who this is, Andy? Because this is a collaborator who's been a bit before, isn't it?
He has. It's Wasberg. We've featured him on the show every other week. Yeah. He's very, very prolific. He keeps the standard up. He's always producing something fantastic. So this is Wasberg, but he's moved to Manchester, and he lives in a house full of other fantastic musicians. And this is a collaboration with a guy called Christian. Don't know anything about Christian at all, other than he's called Christian. And with Wasp, or Luke French, as we also know him as, he's created this tune, Murder on the Car Park, Jean Stealers. I think it's a cracker. You've heard it, haven't you, Chris?
Oh yeah, actually starting off with this one as well. I think out of some of the tracks I've heard for this week, this one's one of my favourites, definitely.
Yeah. It's it was either going to be at the it was always going to be the one to start the show, I think, because it'll just get things going, keep things rolling.
Yeah,
give us a shove.
I wasn't sure where you were going to put this one on because, and again, it's not nice to have highlights out of the show, but this is such a good song. I mean, this is genuinely such a good song. And there's a sample, there's a voice sample that runs throughout the whole thing. There's quite a bit of it at the beginning. I listened to it about 5 times thinking, is that Taxi Driver? It's not Taxi Driver. I can guarantee it's not Taxi Driver. I've looked up the quotes. I've tried to find them online. Do you know what it is, Andy?
I've got no idea.
I'd love to know what it is because it's so cool.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me.
No. Honestly, I even wrote down the words, Googled them, to see if I could find a line from a movie or something where it comes from.
But I know why you said Taxi Driver, because there is a bit of Taxi Driver in there.
Oh, really?
It's almost like they're quoting Taxi Driver because they say something about the scum of the earth or something like that.
That's right.
And it's like, one of these days a real rain's gonna, I think there was a few similar words from that.
Unless it is Taxi, it might be Taxi Driver. I don't know, but right at the beginning, he talks about. He's saying, "Do you drive a? What is? Come on, what he says now? He says like, do you drive a car that's a boat or something like that?" Yeah. And then he says, and I saw him eating a burrito, and I was thinking, this sounds so much like Taxi Driver. It sounds like a point when he's standing there talking. He's brand new to the taxi. He's talking to the other guy who is he's the chubbier chap who's the existing taxi driver, and it sounds so much like that scene, but I don't think it is. Anyway, I'm rambling. What I'm going
to do through the show, if I can, multitask. I'm going to try and text Luke and see if I can find out before the end of the show.
That would be amazing. Because again, I wrote down on this. This is the best thing I've heard. Full stop. For about 2 months. This is the best song I've heard on the radio, anything. It is just superb. I would Shazam this track if I heard this track on the radio. It is absolutely brilliant. I put a packet of crisps next to each song tonight. I know I've copied what Phil did. I know that. Before anybody says it, always copy what Phil did. I know I'm doing that. Anyway, this. You're just copying Phil. It's the quality of this. This is a Pringles tube because you have really you've pushed Pringles. The boat out on your Pringles tube. You've pushed it out there. You don't like Pringles, Andy, do you? I could tell that by your face.
Yeah, but they're not sort of like high-end crisps. They're like supermarket half-price ones,
You don't know
they?
The crisps I eat, Andy. That's a high-end crisp for me. That's right up there.
Right. I thought it'd be more like Fortnum and Mason charcoal wafers.
Good Lord. Wafer.
Yeah, the things they're made from charcoal and they're dark black and you have cheese with them.
They taste absolutely abysmal.
They taste like, I don't know.
Probably taste like charcoal. Yeah, charcoal. Exactly that. Exactly. I'll tell you what, let's have a listen. Rather than rambling. This is Jean Stealers, Murder on the Car Park. You will enjoy this.
What's the word, Jared? Hey, do you also drive a boat car? Like, you gave me a ride in a car that was also a boat? No, man, I don't have a boat car. I know what you're talking about. Man, this must be like parallel universe night. You know that cat that was just in here? Just ran out the door? But he comes up to the counter, and I say, what's the word, Jared? And he lays down this burrito, and he kind of looks at me I said, if you're going to microwave that burrito, I want you to poke holes in the plastic wrapping because they explode. And I'm tired of cleaning up your little burrito doings. You dig me?
Only Human Radio.
Wow. Jean Stealers, Murder on the Car Park. Chris, how good was that?
Well, as I said, it's definitely one of my standout tracks of this week, and it's just one of those things where you go, there's so much going on. I basically regard it as sonically relentless, was the initial impression of it. And then you go, well, hang on, it's so busy, but then again, like so many of the other tracks I've heard over the past weeks and so on, everyone knows what they're doing. The production's so good that everything's clear even when it gets active.
Exactly.
You know, there's no congestion and muddiness. And the samples in it, I couldn't picture them either. And I know that you guys don't like it sounds a bit like comparisons. I love doing that. It's a good shorthand way for people who go, oh yeah, I suppose so, or a bit, or put them on to other stuff they don't know. So for me, I sort of went, there's hints of Boards of Canada about it, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also because it was quite poppy and dancey as well, I actually reminded a little bit of Milo, the guy who did Muscle Cars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll buy that. Yeah. That's a good shout. That is, absolutely.
I loved how busy the percussion is. It's all over the place. I listen to it in the car. It's like while I'm driving along. It's everywhere. It's fantastic.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I think we're a bit percussion-tastic tonight. There's not half a dozen. There's a few songs tonight where the percussion is really unusual. Yours is one of them as well, Andy. We'll come on to that in a bit. But there's some really.
I'm not sure that was deliberate.
No, it's really good though. But there is some really unusual percussion in there tonight, and we will come on to that in a bit. Anyway, that was superb. Jean Stealers, Murder on the Car Park, absolutely fantastic. Now we're coming up to another Only Human classic again. We've got good old Edgey in Edgington.
We have
coming up with his dirty cucumber.
I'm just waiting for you to...
Did I say that in a salacious enough manner?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking this is going to be perfect for Jules. A song called Dirty Cucumber.
I'll do me Sid James laugh for you in a minute. Yeah, you can have that. So how did you find this, Chris?
I'm waiting for the remix called Filthy Aubergine. But yeah, it's another one. It's another bit of wonderful squelchy reverb acid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't know what he used to actually create this, but there's a beautiful there's a couple of songs tonight with a beautiful bit of TB3 in there. I don't know what he actually used to get the TB3 sound, but there's a really nice acid TB3 sound in there.
I think Edgey's. I think Ian uses a mixture of hardware and software.
Right.
I think he's pretty 50-50. So I think his TB3 is a TB3 or a TB3 clone. Right. And I think some of it is. I think the drums might be a drum machine, but certainly the pads and the vocals, I think they're DAW. So he's sort of like got a foot in both camps. I think he's sort of. I think he's. His soundscapes are from both worlds. Was it me? A little bit of funk creep in there as well. It seems to be the flavour of the autumn, doesn't it? A bit of funk. Yeah, it seems to be. Yeah. Did you feel the funk, Chris? Did you feel the funk in there?
I felt a stomp. It was a marching stomp of a tune.
I'll go with Stompy Funky.
Yeah.
Stompy Funky.
Okay.
He's actually, can I do some shameless self-promotion?
Go for it, Andy.
Well, Edgey and
it's never stopped you before.
Well, no, true. Edgey and I are collaborating on a cassette release. He's doing half of it. He's doing one side, and I'm doing the other side. So tonight's tune from Edgey is one of his tunes that will be on his side of the cassette. My tune, to complete the circle of shameless promotion, will be from the other side of the cassette. Sorry about
that. Well, you've got something to live up to here,
I know,
Andy, because this is pretty good. This really is pretty good. Should we have a listen? I'll stick my packet of crisps in a second as well. This is Edgey, Dirty Cucumber, Pickled Onion Monster Munch. Did you feel the pickled onion monster muncher now? Was
I
it just
heard
me?
it. Yeah, no,
Yeah?
I liked that. I liked that.
Yeah, and it's just also a pickled onion is obviously a vegetable, as is a cucumber. Or is it a fruit? Is it cucumber a fruit?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know.
No, it's a vegetable. I think tomato's the fruit.
Is it? I don't know. We'll have to do fruit or...
A strawberry isn't a berry?
Exactly. Well, exactly. Absolutely. And I thought a tomato was a fruit?
It is a fruit.
Yeah.
It is a fruit, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do fruit or vegetable corner next week.
Okay.
A barrow load.
Is this tiresome for the listeners as well as us? I do wonder sometimes.
I'm enjoying the crisps this week.
Yeah, keep with the crisps.
Well, good. Did you feel the pickled onion in that one, Chris?
I did, but I'm waiting for spicy knickknacks, to be honest.
Don't worry, they're coming up.
Jules,
Don't you worry about that.
Jules, have we started again, or I'm getting a bit lost?
That was Edgy Dirty Cucumber. Thank you very much, Ian. That was superb. Andy, what we got coming up next?
Can I just say, with the crisps thing,
Mm-hmm.
I'd started to think about dirty cucumber flavoured crisps and wondered what they would be like.
Yeah, it depends, I suppose, doesn't it? Has that dirty cucumber become slightly flaccid in the bottom of the fridge? Has it?
Yeah, it's gone a bit soft.
Got a little droopy.
Anyway, I am going to move this on now.
Right. Please.
So what we got coming out next, Andy?
Right, we've got one of Chris's tunes. It's Chris. I think it's only fair that you introduce this one, really, because it's a bit of an exclusive, isn't it? And we've kept a lid on it. So what have we got on?
I've done a little bit of spoiling via social media gradually as a hangman game, and eventually we revealed it was Sword Swinging Robots track No Fate. And I've called it the Inevitable Mix. So really, it's because it's such a good track that Matt did in the first place. How can you make it better? You just make it longer.
Yeah,
it seemed to be one of the better options.
Yeah.
So I've thrown in a few subtle enhancements and stripped away some of the stems that I got from him back in 2013. It's taken the imminent release of his album, which will be coming out soon, to get me off my arse. To go, you know what? I should do something with those stems I got. So that's it. I just decided to do this. A few minor tweaks and additions, but really, you don't want to spoil it. You don't want to tread on it. So that's it. Sword Swinging Robots. No Fate. Inevitable Mix. That's it.
And what a mix it is. I genuinely wrote down pro level song on this. This is just so good. The production on it, the song itself. Everything about this is just so good. No question. What did you think?
I agree with you. And there's those lovely breakdowns in the middle. I love the beat on it, but there's bits where the beat goes and you just break it down to the sort of the components. You let it breathe. There's times where there's very few things that are that are layered, and you get to almost have a wander through some of the stems as they are. Well, how I imagine that they are, and you give it space, and it's actually lovely to hear the sort of bare components as well. That was my favourite bit about it. Loved it.
Just an observation as I was listening to it as well. I was just kind of pondering it as I was listening to it and enjoying it. And I was thinking, what I would love to hear is a collaboration between Matt, Dave Julian. So anybody who's listened to the show before will have heard Dave Julian on there before, remixed by Chris. Yeah, that's what I'd love to hear. That would be an astonishing piece of music.
Oh, please, yes. Make it happen.
we really should, because honestly, that would be amazing. It really would be amazing. Absolutely
so you're talking about Dave and Matt collaborating on a tune,
and then Chris remixing
and then Chris remixing it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That would be amazing.
How good would that be?
That would be. I can't even imagine what that would sound like. It'd be like
just to get an original track off the pair of them would be a fantastic thing in the first place. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the opportunity to remix. Oh yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I think that would be something very, very special indeed. I tell you what, should we let everybody have a listen and make their own judgment on this? But this really is an astonishing piece of work. Well done, Chris. Well done, Matt. This is Malaeus, Sword Swinging Robot. No Fate.
Only Human Radio.
Salt and vinegar discos. I'm just leaving that there.
Baked bean piglets.
You can have those if you want, Andy. That's entirely up to you. But you know, it's like when you have some salt and vinegar discos, and there is intense flavour in there sometimes, and sometimes it can be uncomfortable. But you like
still
it, and you have another one and another one, and that's what that felt like to me. I wanted more and more and more. Can you still get
discos?
Absolutely. If you go to the right shop, you need to ask for them under the counter.
They're like
not available.
A forbidden crisp.
Exactly. You need to give the guy that special wink and just give him the SVD. That's all you're going to say. SVD. Salt and vinegar discos. There you go. Let's pay an extra £1 from these days. But anyway, just don't tell anybody I told you that. You've now got the secret. Right, let's move on very swiftly from that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pass over to Andy's astonishing interviewing talents, which, again, we've been nominated for many awards, a lot of them around our jingles, which understandably are astonishing. And we did win that BAFTA for the... which one was it, Andy? Was it Geek Corner? I can't remember.
Just remind me, who made those jingles? Who was it?
It might have been me. Yeah, but who's got the award on their mantelpiece? Yeah, that's you, Andy, isn't it? Yeah. Everybody's noticed.
I'm like that.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, So this potentially is an award-winning feature. It is.
Andy's Geek Corner.
What does that knob do? Oh. So this week we're talking to Chris, and Chris, which piece of equipment are you going to be talking about?
The Korg Minilogue XD.
Oh, what a lovely piece of equipment that is.
Oh yeah.
Go, Andy.
Well, feel free to chip in, because you've had something similar, haven't you?
Oh, I will. I've had a couple of pieces similar. Don't worry, I will.
All right.
The Korg addict. This is Jules.
Yeah.
Don't start me rambling, Chris, because I've had that much Korg gear. It's just ridiculous.
I know, and you missed out on this one. What were you thinking? But I know it's unfortunate timing with your Minilogue, wasn't it?
It was rather, yeah. I bought the Minilogue, and then the Minilogue XD came out about a week later. Which Korg, you, why I oughta, and it was just very annoying. But anyway, I still love my Minilogue, but I would love to hear about the Minilogue XD and why that is so much better.
Well, can I start off with my Gear Geek question? Chris, what is the Minilogue XD?
The Korg Minilogue XD is a 36-key synthesizer with two analog oscillators.
Nice.
A digital oscillator.
Right.
Or digital engine, effectively. Some built-in reverb effects and a 16-step sequencer.
Wow.
And oh my lord, the things you can create with it. It's a phenomenal little thing.
Is it still a current model? If I wanted to buy one, could I still get my hands on one?
Oh, absolutely, because I only got mine in August this year.
Right, okay. All right.
So, beginning of August I got mine.
They also have the Idiots version, Chris, as well, don't they? Without the keyboard, which is obviously the one I'd buy, because I can't play a keyboard. So I could buy the desktop version of the Minilogue XD, connect it up to my Akai Force, and then let my Akai Force do the hard work and actually play the chords and all the rest of it. So, and then all I'm going to do is twiddle the knobs. But you're probably doing the proper thing and actually playing the keys.
That implies that I can play a keyboard, which I can't.
It does. Right.
But the good thing is, it's one of those things where, a track that you've had on a previous Only Human Radio, a couple of weeks back you had Ted's Release, which is one of the tracks.
Yeah.
And that had a 16-note sequence throughout, which was just something I programmed in very simply on the Minilogue XD. And that ran through the entire song. And a couple of the synths on that as well, also from the Minilogue.
How do you find the sequencer on it, Chris?
It's one of those things where if you just start on the basics, it's great as it is, but if you do a bit of menu diving as well, you can get even more out of it. You can change the note lengths and so on. But it's just very simple and easy to program. And also the fact that you can program sequences and then alter parameters in real time and record the parameter changes into the sequence. Mm. That makes it very interesting and very dynamic to get little cycles going, which aren't just a flat tone all the time. You can get some crazy stuff going on if you do that.
Did you say that there's 2 analog oscillators and there's an option to include digital oscillator as well? Can you mix them all together? Can you have all the oscillators firing at the same time?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So it's a total beast in that regard. I mean, the digital engine has noise and saw, and your regular analog oscillators have the typical square pulse wave, sawtooth waveforms and so on. So, I mean, between that, a very easy to understand ADSR envelope function as well.
Brilliant.
And the built-in effects. And the plus point that is a negative when it comes to many analog synths is obviously when you've got something which is a bit more in the digital domain in some ways, you can record and store the patches. It has plenty of space. You've got 200 presets to start off with, some of which are simpler profiles, and then a further 300 spaces for you to put your own stuff into.
So when you're creating a patch of your own, are you modifying a preset, or are you starting from scratch with a sine wave or a square wave?
I'm trying to start from scratch with a sine wave.
So the opportunity to do that is there, is it?
Oh yeah, it starts off as an initialized one in all the blank patches.
Right.
So you're always starting from square one or sawtooth one. So yeah, it's one of those neat things, and I just wish that you sort of have to find your own way into it unless you've been trained in sound design or something. I'm still looking for a decent book about sound design, so if anyone's got any pointers, do let me know.
No, I'm still looking for that book.
There's also the oscillators are separated out into 2 sections on the knob section as well, aren't they, Chris? So you've got oscillator 1, oscillator 2, and then you can independently change the wave type on each of them, and then alter them each, and then alter the mix between the 2 oscillators as well.
Oh yeah, and then throw in the third one if you want it to get even crazier. Yeah. So has it got a
sub oscillator on that one? It has, hasn't it? I think.
You can actually one of the things I'm finding interesting to do is have a main sound made on oscillator 1, and then maybe just detune it by a few cents on oscillator 2.
Fatter. Nice.
It's just one of those things. And of course, you've got the usual little things you can do, whereas you have it as poly or mono or unison. So it's for creative possibility, just for fun to fiddle with and get an idea. So that's the first thing I switch on. Even though I'm pretty much a door person.
You've just reminded me one thing now. The unison and all that is great, because then you can I can't remember which knob it is you use, but you then fiddle about with the knob between the 2 to actually separate out the unison a bit, so it like detunes between the 2 different oscillators, and the sound kind of like just starts to go mental, and you can bring it back to itself again.
So how does the polyphony work on it then? If you've got 3 oscillators, does that mean you've got polyphony on there?
I think it's something like 4-note polyphony.
It sounds absolutely awesome. So are you working on anything with it at the moment, or is it right at the centre of what you do now, or do you just bring it in every now and again?
It is. It's sort of. I mean, aside from the remix of Matt's thing that we just heard, where I defaulted to my usual thing, which is Cubase and largely native instrument stuff. If I want to come up with an idea, I switch that on and mess with that first, because I just love the sounds out of it so much. And for me, it's the sounds that give you the ideas for the song so often, or sort of that's the way it seems to be for me anyway.
We've talked to both Rob Dixon and Dave Julian over the course of these radio shows, and both of them have said that they can quite often be led by the sound.
Well, that's it. Sort of a sound can give you an idea for a melody entirely. That's happened with a couple of things in the past of mine.
Right.
And for the track that we'll be hearing next, I believe as well. And it's a case of that gives an idea.
What a superb segue, Chris. That's amazing. So what we've got coming up now is Malaeus Mindy's Army. This, I'm guessing, is using the Minilogue XD, is it, Chris, yeah?
Actually, yes. It is for the main melody.
Brilliant. Okay, let's have a listen to that melody. Let's come straight back in after this, and we'll have a little chat about the song.
Only Human Radio.
Spicy knickknacks. Told you, Chris. I told you it was coming up.
Yes.
And it was yours. Genuinely.
Get
I can
in.
show you my piece of paper. Spicy knickknacks is down there somewhere, or they're right next to your song. Look at that.
I'm glad I either got spicy knickknacks or I was hoping for tomato ketchup Golden Wonder.
Oh, good Lord, no.
But you don't see them anymore.
No, I'm glad. And that's a very good thing.
It's not.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, you can say you don't like the bottle flavour either.
No, I don't. But what I am very sad is that you just don't see Golden Wonder anymore. That used to be the crisp. It's now Walkers everywhere. It used to be Golden Wonder. Golden Wonder used to be number one.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Walkers ruined the proper configuration for cheese and onion and salt and vinegar. They changed the colours.
There must have been a fight in a car park at some point between Golden Wonder and Walkers over a bag of nuts.
Maybe it was murder on the car park.
Maybe it was,
Yes.
Andy. Beautifully segued in and
Thank you.
fantastically telling me with your special look which says, "Will you shut up?" It's a fair point. It's a fair point. Well made, Andy.
I start doing that with my hand.
Right, let's move on very, very quickly. We've got, as always, Andy, there comes a point in the night where we reach a pinnacle where sometimes a skyscraper is built, and so it's hard to see the top of it because there is a light, there's a beacon at the top of it which shines so bright that although you can't see the top of that skyscraper, that beacon shines out across the world, and people look to it for inspiration and really just look up and feel one day maybe I can touch something as bright and as amazing as that. It's your song coming up next, Andy. So we've got it's Andy Pegg's Gold Man Thunder. I was expecting a Bond theme tune to this.
No, it's quite the opposite. It's some minimal acid. Yeah, that's what it is.
Had you had too much Chardonnay that afternoon? Yeah. For a bit of minimal acid.
Yeah, it was almost the same, but not quite. It's just minimal acid. I can't think of a way of describing it. It's a kick drum. It's a strange fibrous sound and a TB3.
Well, you say it's just a kick drum, and your kick drum, it's an unusual kick drum. I noticed an unusual pattern in there. Chris, I don't know if you spotted that, but it is a very unusual pattern.
Oh, the one thing I focused on most, because I tend to listen to a lot of stuff on headphones, it's a case of like, the bass in the headphones, honestly. That's one of the things I love about this track. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can always guarantee that from one of your tracks, Andy, to be fair. There's always a nice, really good bass line in there. I'm rubbish at a bass line, you're good at a bass line.
I love bass lines. They are one of my most favourite things. I absolutely love them, and I love... you can probably tell with what I've been doing recently, I kind of... Once I've got the bass line, I don't really bother with the rest of the layers and just stick with the drums and the bass line, really, and have a minimal sort of flute over the top or something like that, you know.
I'm guessing Digitact.
No.
Ooh.
This is modular.
Really?
This is modular.
Is it really?
Yeah.
If that's modular, that's good going, mate. That really
Thank
is
you.
because that's.
I'm very proud of it.
You should be. That's a proper tune out. A modular, you don't get that very often.
I know. Yeah, it's a Pico drums. No, it isn't. No, it's not. It's the kick drum is from Mutable Instruments, Platts.
Right.
And the fibery sound is from MCO, ALM MCO.
So when you say the fibery sound, can you just describe when we're listening to it, we know which bit we're listening for?
Zoom, 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 zoom. It's sort of like a fibre. Well, that's how I imagined it anyway. But the TB3 sound is a Roland TB3.
Oh, is it?
Which so it's most of it's modular, but the actual the acid squiggle in it is from a TB3, which was recently voted one of the 10 worst instruments ever made.
What?
Which was slightly annoyed about that, because there was a video saying what are the 10 shittest piece of equipment that people wish they hadn't bought. So I swore.
That's all right. It's all right. We'll just say if you've got children in the room, we do apologise for Andrew swearing. Andrew's embarrassed. I can see the flush in his cheeks. His own children are standing behind him now, shaking their heads. So Andrew.
Sorry.
We're disappointed in you, but not as disappointed as you are in yourself.
I feel properly embarrassed now. Sorry.
I think we can get away with that one, everything will be alright.
Yeah. All right, I'll bloop it. I'll put an acid squelch over the top of it. Yeah. But the TB3, it's really, really. I know it's not my Geek corner, but it's really cheap. You can get it for, I don't know, 200 and something quid. They're bonkersly good.
And it's a great piece of it is a genuinely great piece.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. It's one of the first things I bought when I started making music again. But yes, yeah. So that's the acid sound, but it's in the main, it's modular with a TB3 on top.
Chris, what do you reckon? Shall we listen?
Yeah, but also I want to know if other people are thinking when they hear the words TB3 of Thunderbird 3, the Red Rocket one, because that's always where I go with that.
You could be
if
right.
Only. It's not though. It stands. I can't remember what it stands for.
I know it sounds very different.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's have a listen. Andy Peggs, Goldband Thunder, in brackets, cheese and onion walkers. There we are. Andy, it was a beautiful song. Do you know why I said cheese and onion Walkers?
Because they're my favourite crisp.
They're your favourite crisp, but also they're my go-to crisp.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking, what should I don't know what to listen to. Do you know what? I listen to one of Andy's songs. I always like them. It's my go-to crisp.
I'm not absolutely sure.
You're my go-to
whether that's
crisp.
a compliment
It
or not.
is. It's a massive compliment. It's huge. You couldn't get bigger than that, Andy. You really couldn't.
It sounds like a special moment.
It does. You are
in
my
your life.
You are my cheese and onion Walkers.
When you reach for the cheese and onion crisps.
Andy Pegg, you are the best-selling crisp.
You are.
Well, yeah.
You are.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Right, what we got coming up next?
We've got a stonker.
Ooh.
An absolute doozy.
Aye.
It's Fourth Eden, and it's our lovely friend Martin Eve.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, mate.
Friend of the show?
And, yeah, friend of the show, mate. You recommended... I had a look... We had a lovely email off Martin saying, I've spoken to Jules, and Jules thinks that we should put this on the show. So he emailed it to me. So, hence... Thing is, though, it would go on anyway because I like what he does. But this is another... I love this. It's ace.
Well, I was about to start rambling. I'm not going to start rambling. I'm going to pass over to Chris. I'll let Chris ramble for a second here. What did you think, Chris?
Oh, me and rambling? No. Okay, yes, I do ramble. But with this one, yeah, one of the things I always like about the Fourth Eden stuff is he always has strong melodies.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love a groove every now and again, something which can just trundle along and nice bit of filter action, that kind of thing. But with Fourth Eden stuff, it's just a case of you can hear the tune and you can go a couple of plays and it sticks.
Yeah.
And that's what I really I like the strong melody to it, and it's yet again I'm going to do the comparison thing. Definitely a bit of a Kraftwerk vibe.
I'm glad you said that. I've written...
And me.
All three of us written down Kraftwerk. There we go. But yeah, I 100% agree. Absolutely.
Well, going back to the email that he sent, he said he wrote it around the time that the world said goodbye to Florian Schneider.
Oh, really?
So, in a way, he was kind of hinting that it was a bit of a tribute to the great man.
Well,
so,
do you know... And
obviously, the Kraftwerk comparison is there.
Well, absolutely, but to create something where other people listen to that and go, actually, that sounds a bit... I mean, for a start, anything that sounds a little bit Kraftwerk, even a little bit, is amazing, because Kraftwerk are amazing. So to have that comparison in there, and that he intended to put it in there and achieved it, that's not easy to do. It sounds easy to do, but it really isn't easy to do. You know, to do it properly, without it sounding contrived.
No, you've either got to rip off their instruments wholesale or do something which is your own with it. And
absolutely.
I think it's the vocal, the processed vocal, gives it a certain vibe.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Yeah.
And do you know what? I think this is testament to this tune that we haven't mentioned Kraftwerk once through the whole 8 episodes of our electronic music show, which I think is...
We're not.
Quite an achievement to get this far without without using the K word.
Yeah,
and I think I think Martin has kind of pushed us to bring them up.
And again, with Martin's piece here, the percussion. This is there's another piece coming up later. I can't remember which one it is, but the percussion in this is again, it's different, it's unusual. So his percussion, to me, it sounded. The rest of the song wasn't 16-bit, but the percussion sounded 16-bit. If you know what I mean. It had that real chiptune sound to the percussion for some reason or other, and that kind of gave it that late 70s feel as well, which really worked in.
I just really like his production. For me, it's just... I wish I could create something that clean and that sort of cold and warm at the same time. I love it. Really good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I tell you what, why don't we have a listen? This is Fourth Eden, and I've just got to say I'm becoming a little bit of a fan of Martin. This really is particularly good. So this is Fourth Eden. This is Humanoid.
Metamorphosis. Propagandism. Indoctrination. Optimism. Thoughts. Resemblance.
Only Human Radio.
Alien heads. Are they corn based or are they potato based?
Do you mean Space Invaders?
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
I do. Why didn't I look them up properly? I just wrote down alien heads. Oh, I've let
They've got
myself
alien
down.
heads.
Oh, it's not quite as bad as your swearing instant, Andy, but I do feel embarrassed.
Oh!
They have got alien heads, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, but they're not called alien heads.
No, they're not. They're called
And
Space
they
Invaders.
they stick to your teeth.
Exactly, and that's why I chose it, because this song sticks with you. Long after it, you've got bits you're picking out your teeth, but you're still enjoying it. That's why I chose that, Andy.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah.
There was layers of... yeah.
My wife says I'm not right. Anyway,
she knows you well.
She does. She does. Right, let's move on very, very swiftly. Oh, well, sadly, we haven't won an award for this jingle. We'll play it anyway. Andy's Master Blaster.
Time for tea.
Mum, I'm doing a jingle. Why haven't we won an award for that jingle, Andy? It's extraordinary.
I don't know.
I
mean, it's like the second album, though, isn't it? I mean, the first one got all the praise.
You're right there.
Second one, you put your soul through the mangler to create that, and nobody was listening.
And nobody cares. Nobody understands.
Your time had passed. Your time had been and gone. Your moment in the limelight was over.
Nobody understands how hard that was.
I do have one question, if I may throw this in.
Yeah.
The little countdown intro music sequence. Who did that? Because I love that.
That's the wonderful Dave Julian. The
there you go.
We are only human.
Oh no, not the only human intro sequence. No. The little 2-minute countdown before the show.
Oh, that's YouTube. YouTube stick that in for us. Thank
well
you,
done, YouTube.
Cheers, YouTube. Yeah, unfortunately, that's YouTube. But the intro. That's the intro sequence.
That's the best bit. I like that bit as well. I wished it lasts longer.
It is. That's the only reason most people tune in, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
Right. On that bombshell, we're moving into something very special because we've just played the jingle. You know exactly what it is. It's Andy's Master Blaster. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, this is an artist called Sandunes. She was featured on a BBC programme probably about 12 months ago, maybe not that long ago, I can't remember. It was called The Rhythms of India.
Right.
And it was... I like all sorts of music programs. I'm a bit of a collector when it comes to musical knowledge. So this one really, really sort of grabbed my attention. And what they did was they talked about, over I think it was 4 programs, they talked about ancient Indian music, different Indian forms, Bhangra, things like that. But one of the episodes was about current and emerging Indian music. And it turns out that there is quite a healthy electronic music scene in India. I didn't watch this program because I knew that was coming up. It was just a very, very happy coincidence. I was like, oh, right. Oh, really? Now, I didn't realise that India had an emerging electronica scene. And it's the Master Blaster, because I'm just sort of overwhelmed or overjoyed to know that there's other parts of the world that are sort of creating electronic music in pockets all over the world, and it made me feel so happy. And yeah, that's why it's the Master Blaster.
Well, it's a very good reason. How did you find it, Chris?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, sort of, shall we do a little bit of promotion for them as well, because this is available
Absolutely.
on Bandcamp?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Do we know how we find them on Bandcamp? Do we just search for them?
Well, it's one lady. She's called Sandunes.
Yeah.
She's on Bandcamp. She's signed to, I think it's K7 Records. They're a German record label.
Yeah.
This is off her most current solo album, but her latest album is a collaboration, and I didn't write down the guy's name, but her latest album is a collaboration with a drummer. So she's done this kind of her electronica with a live drummer sort of album. But I went for something that was hers because it was more pure to the program that I watched.
I also wrote down for this, I don't know, I'm sure people have heard of them, Future Islands. So my song of the summer was Future Islands for Sure, which is, if you haven't heard it, it's just a wonderful, wonderful song. And there was
I know Future Islands. Is that their big tune, or is it?
Well, it's the big
something a bit more.
Well, it was played a lot on Radio 6 during the summer, and it was just something that kind of caught me with a bit of a hook, and I just thought, do you know what, there's something special about that song. And there was something about this song which reminded me of that, and I couldn't tell you what it is, but as soon as I heard it I thought, that brings me back that same feeling, that real warmth of, do you know what, I love that song from the first second I listened to it. And there was just some kind of resonance with that song. And there's a real feel of the way I don't know which bit it is, there's a synth in there that's running throughout it, and it's like the background sound in there that sounds like rain falling as well. It's got a real Californian, relaxed, laid-back feel about the whole thing. There is a warmth to it. There's sort of like I don't know. It's quite delicate in a way. It's not heavy. It's not punchy in your face sort of electronica. It's sort of quite ethereal. It's quite washing. Yeah, that's a great word, Chris. It's ethereal. It absolutely is. Yeah. It's just a subtle, nice, beautiful, laid-back song. And if you went to Florida, you wouldn't buy a packet of crisps. You'd buy a packet of potato chips, and they're probably called Lay's. I don't care about the flavour. They just taste good. Let's have a listen. This is Sandunes, Love It Less, featuring J-Babe.
talk to you, but you look away. Look up and send the light, favor in someone's eyes. Would you make up amends if I made a scene? If I make a scene, I swear you're coming clean. Who are you to love? Who are you to love in my way? 'Cause you and I, we turned out the same. Who are you to love? Who are you to love in my way? 'Cause you and I, we turned out the same. Who are you to love? Who are you to love in my way? 'Cause you and I, we turned out the same. Who are you to love? Who are you to love in my way? 'Cause you and I, we turned out the same. Who are you to love? 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 'Cause you and I, we turned out the same. Who are you to love? 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 W
Sandunes, Love It Less, featuring J Babe. I was on a beach throughout the whole of that, eating my packet of Lays. I don't know about anybody else.
I was staring at the stars over a lake.
Yeah. Chris?
Floating on the liner.
On the lake? Because I think I saw you there. I think I saw you floating around.
With the armbands on. That was me.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Were you the one with the flamingo ring?
Yes. My God, so predictable.
You. Yeah. Next year, let's just go on holiday together. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
To
India to meet Sandunes.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could turn up on the door. Hi.
She'd be delighted, I'm sure. Three big idiots
She'd
turn
lock
up and
the
do,
door and run away.
Hello. We've brought crisps.
We
Hello.
like your music.
We're not stalking you, honest.
Andy's weird. He's got his... Anyway. Right, okay. Let's move on very swiftly. That was wonderful, though. Thank you very much indeed for putting that through. Right, so My Life for It's the last song. This is unbelievable. But what a last song we've got. This is... well, it really is quite extraordinary. And again, I know why you've put this one last, Andy, because we start with a banger and we end with something really, truly amazing as well.
Yeah. This is our friend from Stockholm. Primitive System. Our mate Jaakko. He contacted the show, sent us some tunes. We liked what he'd done, and he sent us some more. So I think it's only fair, because we like what he does, to put them on. Once again, it's an iPhone tune.
No way.
So yeah, it's another iPhone tune. So absolutely bowled over. Have you heard it, Chris? What do you think?
I have. It's just one of those things. It's funk again, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And it's the dance between the lead synth and there's a hard drum fill that keeps on, that you alternate between the two of them. Made me feel a little bit like a train journey.
Yeah.
Actually, yet again, comparisons, Star Guitar.
Ooh,
Popped straight in my head with this one.
Yeah, I'll take that.
No?
I don't know it.
Do you not?
Don't know Star... Oh.
There's a Spotify for you, Andy.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I know what I'm doing in 15 minutes, 20 minutes then. I'm going to go and check that out. Is Star Guitar a band, or is it a song, or what is it?
That's a song.
Is it? Okay. I think this is quite an aggressive tune. Percussively, I think it's quite aggressive. but
is.
at the same time, it's really melodic as well. So it's sort of angry, but sort of giving you a massages at the same time. It's sort of got a lovely melody, but punching you at the same time. It's weird.
I know what you mean. And
I love it.
I'd also written down, this isn't really like anything I've ever heard before. It's really unusual. I love it. It's really unusual, though. And there's loads of arpeggios in here as well, which I really like as well. The whole thing comes together wonderfully, but it is an unusual piece of music, but something that draws you right in there.
I think we've gone full circle, starting with Jean Stealers and ending up with Primitive System. I think they're both... They're both unusual, but there's enough in there to recognise as melodic or aggressive, like I say. But I think they're pushing new sounds somehow. So I'm glad that they've started and finished the show.
Chris, should we have a listen? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a nice way to bookend it all. They're both very energetic sort of tunes. So energetic start, energetic end. Yeah,
perfect. This is Primitive System, New Primitive.
Only Human Radio.
Skips. Prawn flavoured skips.
I thought skips only were prawn flavoured.
They are. You're right, Andy. I've made a fool of myself for the second time tonight. God. If only I'd have done some
Since the
proper
swearing
research before
incident,
this.
I've become slightly boisterous. Combative.
Yeah.
Was it Colin the biker with skips?
What? Ooh, now that rings a bell, Chris, but I don't...
I think
Is
for
that a
marketing,
nightmare
that was it.
Was it?
A little animated thing. It could have been a nightmare also.
Yeah.
A collective nightmare.
Yeah, could be. Maybe. You never know. I've lost myself in this now, let alone anybody else. Is anybody still tuned in? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, sadly, that was our last song of the night. Well, sadly for us, maybe not sadly for you, but I've got to say, again, I'm sure everybody will agree that was an amazing set of music tonight. Genuinely
Brilliant.
Amazing set of music. Chris, it's been an utter pleasure having you on tonight.
It's been fantastic to be here. Enjoyed you so much.
Well,
Great show again.
Well, thank you, and thanks for. Well, it's because of people like you that the show's good.
Yes.
Producing the music, being collaborative. This isn't,
absolutely.
It's all about the music.
100%.
That's what it's all about. Speaking of which, Andy, go on.
Well, can I just want to add something. Everything that we played tonight is new. It's fresh stuff. We're not dipping into the past or looking, digging something out. This is all new stuff. A lot of this has been created in sort of last 2, 3, 4 weeks. It's brand new, fresh off the whatever you fresh off. But that's what I absolutely love about the tonight's show is that it's all brand new stuff. It's all been created by this lovely group of people. It's ace. I love it. Anyway.
Don't worry, Andy. Next week I'll reel out one of my old crappy tunes that nobody likes. Don't worry about that. I'll soon wedge that in.
No, we need Fez on the show.
We do.
Fez on here.
Let's wedge that in next week then. Go on. See if anybody else likes it. I think it's only you, but anyway, we'll see.
Well, okay. So, all right. So,
come on. Let's have a listen to what we had tonight. Come on.
Okay, so we started off the show magnificently with Jean Stealers, Murder on the Car Park, Luke French and Christian. We had Edgey, Dirty Cucumber, Ian Edgington, from our new Acid cassette, ladies and gentlemen. Then we had Malaeus, a sword-swinging robot, No Fate, the fantastic Inevitable mix. Then we had Chris talking about the Korg Minilogue XD. Then we had another Malaeus tune, Mindy Army remix. It's the Reinforcement mix.
That's the Spicy Knickknacks mix, which I've got to say, Chris, and it genuinely is a brilliant song, that as well. And I forgot to say that made me feel like driving through the night through a city with amber lights everywhere. I forgot to say that, but if you listen to that again. And just think about yourself driving through somewhere. It's got that real relaxing feeling about the whole thing. It's just a really, really great song. Yeah. Sorry, Andy.
We had one of mine, Goldman Thunder. Then we had Fourth Eden, Humanoid. That is up there. It's a fantastic tune.
Brilliant.
We had our Master Blaster, which is Sandunes, Love It Less, featuring J Babe. And we ended up with our friend from Stockholm, Sweden, Primitive System and New Primitive. Awesome.
Well, again,
mine was iffy, but
yours was very nice indeed, Andy. It was that pinnacle. It was that skyscraper in the sky everybody tries to reach for, as always. You know very well that, Andy. Up to you. What a wonderful show! Thank you so much, everybody. We know the time and effort that goes into producing these songs, and we really do genuinely appreciate it. If you want to put a song on here, we would love to hear it. Andy, where do people email things through to?
It is onlyhuman@gmail.com.
And what's that email address again?
No, it isn't. Oh, no, it isn't.
It's
onlyhumanradio@gmail.com.
In which case, you are definitely going to have to repeat that. So what's that email address again?
It's onlyhumanradio@gmail.com.
Thank goodness for that.
If you send it, we will play it.
We will. Do you know what? Gary Newman still hasn't bloody replied. God,
hasn't he?
No. How disappointing is that?
He's been busy. His book's coming out tomorrow.
Well, I know.
As we
for
speak.
Goodness sake.
Or soon.
Honestly. The least he could have done was say no.
Did he even get back to us?
No.
Was he... There was nothing.
Nothing. Zero. Nothing at all.
It's...
John Hopkins didn't come back either, strangely enough. It's strange, that, isn't it?
Who are we trying next week?
I know what he said, Gary
Rick
Glitter.
Wakeman?
Changed my mind quickly.
Vangelis?
Vangelis, yes. I think we might have to step down slightly. I think we might be aiming too high.
Can we get a Ouija board and try and get Edgar Froese?
We could have a go.
Oh, yeah.
We could have a go.
Yeah,
we could have a go.
Be good.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell you what, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you for all the artists again tonight. Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me along, guys.
And it's been fun and laughter bars all night. Andy, do you want to do the big goodbye?
Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, it's not bad. 7.5. Goodbye. Chris.
Goodbye.
That's better.
Only Human Radio.